What's going on, y'all? It is me, Bria Janelle, a.k.a. the voice of Atlanta basketball, and you are tuned in to Out of Bounds.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Out of Bounds. I'm Rashad Milligan. We're back in studio. It's been a minute. It's been a lot. I get it. But we are here with the voice of Atlanta basketball, Miss Bria Janelle. Bria, how are you doing today?
Oh, man, when people ask me that question, I always tell them I am undefeated, I'm winning, and I'm blessed. Because if you woke up this morning, you are winning, so all is well. And I mean, look, this has been a breakout year for me, so I say undefeated.
Man, you talk about a breakout year. There's a billion places we can go. We can start off, though, with the WNBA AllStar game. To do AllStar weekend, just how was that? You know, that they chose you out of all the MCs in the league.
Yeah, it was incredible. I did All-Star last year, but it was in a bubble type of situation, just with COVID and the pandemic. It was very hard to really get that full effect, right? We did it with masks on. We couldn't go on court. We couldn't touch the people. So I was telling people that was my asterisk next to hosting WNBA All-Star. But this year, being named a two-time WNBA All-Star was absolutely incredible. I got an email saying that the league is requesting you to come and host All-Star. And that's big because it wasn't in our city, right? Typically, when you host All-Star, the hosting MC or the hosting team's MC normally hosts. So to be able to host alongside Sean Redwell, who is the in-arena host for the Chicago Sky, was absolutely amazing. It was incredible. It was very long days. We spent like 12 to 14 hours a day rehearsing. A lot of people think we just pick up the mic and go. There was very long scripts that we had to memorize on Saturday and on Sunday, because if you think about it, we had the skills competition and three-point competition in a more like intimate setting in a venue. So that was one thing in itself. There were over 1,500 EYBL girls that were there in attendance for Nike Nationals, which was a bunch of screaming girls, which was an incredible environment. And then we took it to the big stage, which is at Wintrust Arena on Sunday, and that was a lot of rehearsal. You know, we ran into a lot of technical issues going live to broadcast, so on ABC, you know, so it was fun altogether. I got a chance to attend a couple of Jordan events while I was out there, so that was cool. You know, All-Star this year I think was pretty cool because it was like the last one really since Vegas. So I enjoyed my experience, enjoyed my time there, and got a chance to meet some really awesome people and work alongside. So I enjoyed it for sure.
I hear it, and I have a piece to say about that, but you know, just to say for the sake of it,
yes.
We'll stay on this for a minute. I know I have a friend who works for the NBA, and his thing is, you know, like he's always like, I always knew you would have made it to the NBA because, you know, he hooped at everybody hoops. Everybody who works in the hoop space is once hoop and just has a passion for the game. Yes. So for you, being named a two-time All-Star, like, does that feel like I always knew I'd make it to the WNBA All-Star game? How is that? For me, I can say yes and no. My journey hasn't necessarily been the cookie cutter journey, right? So a lot of people don't know, I actually started off as an intern with the Atlanta Dream. So when the franchise came in 2008, I interned there from 2008 to 2012, and I was like, you know what, I want more for myself, you know, and so I wanted to be able to go out and really find out who I was as a person, to find out what I wanted to do the rest of my life in my career. And so when I got a call from Renee Montgomery when ownership changed last year, it was just like, all right, cool, you know, she was like, hey, you know, we know you're the voice of the city when it comes to basketball, like the Atlanta Dream needs you, we need your energy. So I'm like, all right, cool. So All-Star last year, like I said, it was like an asterisk, but then to be named this year was just like, I don't think I could have imagined that. To really say, like, I went from being an intern for a franchise when it first came here to now being the voice and a two-time All-Star, and it's never been done in franchise history. To me, it was just like, yo, I never thought of this. Every day I get over here, I see my energy, I'm like, bro, I'm here, like, I'm outside, so I'm excited. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. So I got that up. Like I said, I have a few things to get off my chest about it. I won't get, with you being officially involved, I won't get too much into it. The lack of planning, because the whole thing happened kind of a few months before it actually happened. And the reason why it's a big deal to me and so many other people is because if it was men, it would never have happened that way. Like, it never would have been, poorly planned to the point where you have to force it in the EYBL weekend. And it's beautiful, continue to grow the game and continue those young girls' passion for the game as they become young women. That's beautiful, amazing, and stuff like that. But it's like that never would have happened in the NBA. And it was just a lot of, I felt like, disrespectful things that could have been avoided if the league and Kathy Engelbert would have planned it a few months in advance from where it was planned.
Yeah.
with all that being said, the event was great. Weekend went well, and the game was amazing.
Yes.
It was a great game, even though I don't agree with the decision to sub out Sylvia Fowles at the same time you sub out Sue, so they can get their own kind of. I don't know, man. I just want to know, like, you know how the fans feel about those things when they say those things. How do you feel as someone who's a part of it? Like you said, you put in 12, 13, 14 hours. Right. You put in all this work, and then you get on social media and we complaining about, ABC. Like, just how's that for you from behind the scenes?
I think from behind the scenes perspective, to be honest, I wasn't aware until I actually touched down on ground that it wasn't going to be a ticketed event for the skills competition, right? So, but again, I get what they were trying to do in giving the young girls an opportunity because they were playing in that same venue 2 days later or a day later with Nike Nationals. So I get what you're trying to do because you also have to understand bridging the gap, right, between this generation and the next generation of athletes, right? So I like the thought process that went into it. It just kind of like planning process for like having, I think it was it was like a cooking ware or like a cutlery event that was in town the same weekend. So I was like, I wish we could have had Wintrust instead of that. So I mean, you're kind of working under like circumstances, and I guess I can kind of say they did the best they could in the situation they were in, because what people don't understand is that a lot of people that were just coming off of like the NBA draft. So it was like you had draft, and then you had pre-draft, and then right after this you had summer league. So until we can actually have the marketing and the budgeting dollars for the W side to really have our own staff, we still have to share the NBA staff. And working alongside them, some of them were tired, and you can't hate on that. You wish we would have our own staff and things, but I always tell people when you try to compare the NBA and the WNBA, right? It's like trying to compare you where you are in life now and where your grandparent is, right? So at 26 years old, what did you know compared to what your grandparents knew at 75, right? So I think it comes down to experience, and this is one of the few leagues that we get a chance in our generation to actually grow with. By the time the NBA was developed, it was 40 years in, so they worked out all the kinks. And we're the thing with the WNBA, and I often have this conversation with my friends when they ask me these questions about how do you feel about the WNBA, is I'm like, we grew up with this league. We saw this league from 1996 or 1997 to conception, now to where the league is now. So, again, where was the NBA at 25 years old? Or 26 years old. A lot of us don't know. So it's like, did they go through these hiccups? Right. Did they go through these things? So, again, yes, there's a long way to go. But it takes money too, and it takes support, and it takes those people constantly, being involved and putting dollars in and saying, okay, look, we'll add this much of a budget to create a whole other staff just for AllStar. Because even people talk about the trophy. Yeah, it could have been. I saw it and I was like, ooh. But what I do like is that our commissioner, she did come back, Kathy Engelbert, and knowing that they're like, they got ripped on social media, and after Vegas was like, here's a Capri Sun. She made a joke of it during the Commissioner's Cup and gave her even a smaller trophy. So I mean, you just gotta kind of have fun with it, but it is a learning curve, and we're still growing. So I always tell people, be patient with the league. Like at 26, you know what your grandparents knew at 75, 76 years old. So that's how I'll answer that one.
And when you see women's basketball league and these other leagues kind of sprouting up, AU, a great alternative in the off season to solve. Just I guess with the one of those women's basketball leagues, I know that they're lowering the rims and they're making like dunking a part of the game and stuff like that. I know some people, whenever you bring that up, they're like, shut up, get that out of here. That's the most misogynistic thing I ever heard. I hate you. Get out of my face. Other people hear and they're like, it's an interesting idea. Yeah. Where do you belong the thing of, in different leagues, not in the W, because the W is a great league already. It's a great product. If you love ball, you love ball. Yeah. But for those other leagues, excuse me, how do you feel about lowering the rims and stuff?
Lowering the rims, I'd honestly say, if you like it, I love it, right? For me, I'm 5'4", right? So if y'all want to lower the rims, I can do it. Let's do it. But you did mention the AU League. I really like that because I think that's become a subsidiary of like the WNBA for those players like a Essence Carson, like a Kiki, who Halbert Harrington, I believe that's her last name, who played there, who might have gotten cut, or players who don't want to go overseas.
Kiki was coming back from pregnancy.
Right? So again, if that's that league to help them get in shape, I like it. If you want to lower the rims, I'm not opposed to it. But, you know, you also, like, the athletes now that are coming out, this next generation, are bigger, faster, and stronger. We're seeing more and more girls in the McDonald's All-American Slam Dunk competition. You're seeing more girls dunking during the game. You know, and I think that, like, lowering the rim, I'm not opposed to it. You know, if that brings more, if that's what's going to make you spend more money and come to the game, let's do it. It don't hurt me. It doesn't take any money out of my pocket. It doesn't do anything. If that's what is going to help the game grow and you feel it's going to help the game grow, I wouldn't be opposed to lowering the rims, and then you give us guards a little opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to shine too, okay.
And Bria, let's talk about it, right? People don't like basketball.
Right.
Like, let's just talk about y'all don't like basketball.
No.
If y'all worried about dunking, you don't even like the game.
Period.
It's like in baseball when people are like, baseball was more fun when steroids were on. You didn't like baseball. You just like watching home runs.
Exactly.
You don't like basketball. You just like watching people dunk.
And that's what I tell people all the time. The WNBA has some of the most, or women's basketball, not even WNBA, but women's basketball has the most competitive basketball because you have to really lean into your skill set, not necessarily your athleticism, right? A guy can dunk, okay, cool. But, like, some of the, like, look at shooting percentages. Look at, like, mid-range. Like, these girls really have to work on their game because that is a part of their game that some, 85, 90% of them don't have the ability to dunk, but what they make up in the lack of dunking for is the skill set to be able to say, I can get to this block, I can shoot off a dribble, I can do these things. Think about the mid-range game in the NBA is dead. It's pull up three. In the WNBA, it's not pull up three. You're still getting people, Courtney Williams pulling up off a dribble at the free throw line. Yeah. Those type of players who still have a mid-range game, and that's their bread and butter. So I love it.
All right. Before I had to get off some hot topics and everything like that. But this is a Bria interview. So, just creating the best atmosphere in the WNBA, just how has that been to be a part of it and to see the growth from last season, 8-24, to this season, a team that's about to make the playoffs? Absolutely.
Coach T, Tanisha Wright, had a motto that, I think it was for the team, but I personally adopted. They say locked in, all in. And I heard her say it. We had a tip-off dinner, and I was like, I like that. And what does that mean? So for me, I feel like I tell people I'm the 13th player on the team. I just don't have a jersey, right? I have a microphone instead. And to me, I want people, when they come to the Atlanta Dream games, I want you to be like, yo, this is the best arena and the best in-game experience I've ever been to. So I want you to feel like you're at a cookout. I want you to feel like you're at a family function. I want you to feel like you're at the club. I want you to feel like, oh, this is a girls' night out. It's a guys' night out. Like, I want it to be such an environment that you have never experienced in sports that you're like, I gotta come back. I want to do this again. And man, there's maybe games where it may not be the best basketball, but where there's not the best basketball, you have to make up for an experience. And my boss, Lauren Trusty, told me this the other day. She said, Lauren is well known around the NBA when it comes to live presentation and games. And she said her boss once told her when she worked with the Clippers that you have to go out and you have to win at least 2 games a season. And she told me, she said, you won the last game, right? Because the energy in the arena, I control the vibes. I'm a vibe curator, right? And for me, I tell people all the time, I'm not just a talent, I'm a producer. So as a producer, I have to be able to turn on, create those moments and those little nuances that you're like, ooh, I didn't think about that. Or, ooh, like I told people, I say, get your phones out. This last 3 seconds is going to be incredible. CP knocks down what turns out to be the game winner, right? We had you on your feet. So these little things that makes Atlanta special, and I don't want people to just say, oh, it's the best in the WNBA. I want you to say it's the best in all of sports because we're going to take you on Sundays. We're going to play gospel. We're going to make you feel like you at Sunday brunch, right? On Friday night, we're going to make you feel like you was at Compound before it closed. You know what I'm saying? I want this to feel like Atlanta. When you come into the arena, I want you to say, whew, I don't know that girl's name. I want you to remember my name. I'm Bria Janelle. But you just be like, man, we had a good time with her. So we're going to play those old school jams. Like the Coke Jam Camp. For the longest time, it's just been people getting up and dancing and moving. But we in Atlanta. I'm like, yo, let's turn this into a karaoke, like a singing moment. Yeah. And you can still dance to it. And there was the first game of the season.
Oh, my goodness. Goosebumps.
People kept singing. It was Candy Rain into a break. Into live action. The DJ who DJ Mo, he's our sound music coordinator. So he's responsible for the in-game sounds that you hear. And Ryan Howard knocks down a 3-pointer at the buzzer to send it into the half. Like, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. Yeah. Right? And those are the moments that it's like, that's what Atlanta remembers. This is what Atlanta is. I'm homegrown. I'm from here, you know? Mm-hmm. So to me, bringing that culture to the city and to the Atlanta Dream is what is going to make our arena and our game days very special.
How's that chemistry like with you and I believe her name is Jay, the DJ?
Yeah, DJ Chalet. Yeah, she's cool, and it's actually a lot of people don't know. We actually we were at OTE, right? So we had a chance to really be in arena host at OTE and work together, and now bringing the chemistry side. Like I tell people, I think she's one of the greatest DJs in the city, right, and beyond. And her ability to get out there to know what to play, and we feed off of each other, right? So the greatest thing that the Atlanta Dream added this season was a riser, right? So every game you'll see me standing up on a riser, and I want to read the room. And she and I look and say, okay, what does the crowd look like today? Who do we cater to? And one day I say, you know what? We might have to apologize for this later, but let's play gospel. Yeah. And when we had the whole arena saying, like rarely do you hear gospel at sporting events.
Right. I think that was the first. Yeah. Like, and it wasn't just one song. It wasn't just
we would do
one
a
Kirk
set.
Franklin song. It was a whole Kirk Franklin, Mary,
oh yeah,
and maybe Fred Hammond. You know what I'm saying? And the whole arena, like you said, would get into it.
And that's the thing is like it's bold. Mm-hmm. It's not the popular choice in sports, but it's people that are coming from church. Our Sunday crowd is different than our Friday crowd. That's different than our Tuesday crowd. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I want people to feel embraced. Like I want you to feel like I'm gonna hear at least one song that I like to hear.
Right.
You know.
All right, and I guess so. We talked about the Atlanta Dream experience. I'm really trying to creep up with everything because there's so much you do. I guess you can go back to 2008, like you said, 2008 as an intern with the Atlanta Dream. About, what was it, 2018 when you started with WWE?
Yes. No, 2016.
2016, so nearly a decade.
Yes.
People see that. People see you today. People see you up here rolling out doing the interview. People don't see a decade of work before that. I guess just, that journey. If you had to describe that journey, like piece by piece, when you're doing your own website and going getting NBA credentials and interviewing the players as they come into the, tell people that decade. What was that decade like?
Yeah, someone once told me it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. This is year 10 for me. This decade has been it's been the journey, and it's me trial and error trying to figure out what I wanted to do, right? At one point, I started off working at Streets 94.5 as a radio personality when I left the Dream, and I was like, okay, I want to pursue my career in radio because I did radio in college. And one thing about radio, you love it, but it doesn't love you back, right? And so it's this window, and it was like, okay, radio isn't what I want to do. And I'm like, I want my voice to be heard, but in my own space and capacity, right? So I created a platform called Loud Genius. And so to me, Loud Genius is where culture speaks. I consider myself a loud genius, right? I'm if you know me, I'm gonna bring the energy, I'm gonna be loud. But I think there's so many gems and jewels that I can provide and bring to different scenarios. And so, I was, going out I pretty much cover everything you can think of when it comes to sports. I mean, I've done the biggest stages of sports. I've done the Democratic National Convention. I was actually invited out there. Wow. Back in 2016, I went and covered the DNC in Philadelphia. I spent a week out there. I got an invite.
How was that?
It was incredible.
Side note, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I want to know, because that's different. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I worked in politics for a little bit through Loud Genius. So I covered DNC. It was incredible to be standing next to like a Roland Martin, to be standing next to I saw Oprah Winfrey when I was there, wow. Gayle King, to be able to see these pioneers when it comes to Black media personalities and Black excellence and Black talent. To me, it was just it was incredible, right? And I got a chance during the Obama administration to spend some time at the White House. So I would go back and forth to DC. People had no idea. I did the lighting at the Christmas tree. When Bill Russell actually received his Medal of Freedom, I was there. There were so many different things, and just to see I was like, no for me means not right now. So anything that I had a capacity to get my hands on, from basketball to hockey to football to baseball to politics, you name it, I wanted to be a part of. And so Loud Genius really gave me that confidence to be like, you know what, I can use this platform to stand on my own now. And I was like, it's time for me to become a personality on my own and not just be Bria from Loud Genius or fill in the blank, wherever it was. And I was like, you know what? I really want to hone in on being a personality and a talent. And anyone that knows me knows when I set my mind to it, I'm an only child. So when I set my mind to it, I'm like, I'm going to do it. And there's nothing you can tell me. And this last couple of years has just been a journey of me really becoming the voice of Atlanta basketball and saying so much so that when you mention this city, of Atlanta in basketball, you have to bring up my name in the conversation of rooms that I don't even step foot in. It's work.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think about. And you said something right there where you said, no means not right now.
Absolutely.
That's a word.
Absolutely. Like, you tell me no, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to ask again. Or I'm going to go, because here's the thing I've learned in this 10-year journey is that the back doors still lead to the biggest rooms. So, again, there's rooms where I'm like, I don't know how I'm here. I have no idea. I don't know how I got this opportunity, but still it's just stay in the grind, stay the course. And when you build a brand where the people can speak for you, I don't have to say I'm the voice of Atlanta basketball. You intro me saying that. So that my work has been able to do the talking. And I'm like, yo, this has got me in so many rooms. And I'm like, how am I here with these people? Like, this is $1 billion room. And I'm here at the front of it, talking.
And you belong.
And I belong here.
There's, we saw Tyler Perry speak this past weekend at Invest Fest. That's why I wasn't at ABL. And he said, well, you know, people are always like, why you put Tyler Perry presents Tyler Perry on the plays? And he was like, he was doing that, you know, on purpose. So anytime you saw Tyler Perry's name, you could put it with excellence, with a great, memorable experience. Regardless of what you feel about Medea or Diary of a Mad Black Woman, like, you're gonna to remember that experience when you saw it with your auntie, with your mama, with your whoever in your family. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of standard he wanted to set with his name. So when he went to those executives in Hollywood and they wouldn't accept them, they would still know, someone would know who Tyler Perry was. And that sounds like kind of what you did through branding throughout the past few years.
Absolutely. And for me, it was just like, when you think of Atlanta basketball, I'm one of the most, I would say, people you wouldn't expect, right? Because when you think of basketball, period, and the type of basketball that I do, you would think of a man, you would associate that with a man. But as a woman, to me, it's bigger than just saying, okay, I'm the voice of Atlanta basketball. I want young girls to look at me and see and say, you know what, I want to do what she does. I can do what she does. You know, like, I know that I'm supposed to be a trailblazer to create paths for trail runners, you know, and to show, you know, little girls, like, and even young women too, that basketball, you can do what you want in basketball. What I did that didn't exist in this city. You know, I mean, to host one of the top programs in the country, and when I'm not there, people are like, where were you? You missing? Like, where is Bria? Like, you know, to me that's important because I don't have a traditional role as a woman when it comes to sports. I don't sit behind a desk. I don't stand on the sideline. Like, I'm in the game. I'm, you know, connecting with the players. I'm giving them nicknames. Like, to me, it's more than just saying, like, oh, I'm the voice. Like, I'm in the culture.
I know. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that on camera. I don't want to do that on camera, so we'll keep it moving.
Okay.
But when you said that, the first two people I think of when I think of Atlanta basketball are you and Miss Basketball. It's just ironic.
Yes.
Two black women are the first things I think about when I think of Atlanta basketball.
Absolutely.
And both of you, those weren't things that existed before you guys have done what you guys have done and stuff like that throughout the past few years. You know, well, it's so much I want to talk about, but I guess ABL. When did you first get connected with Ja and ABL?
So I actually met Ja in college. I was going into, in 2010, I was going into my senior year of college, and I came back to, we actually met, it was an accidental blessing, as I called it. We met at B103. He was managing an artist at the time called Just Nice, and I was there spending the day with B Easy, who was now our DJ. He was a producer for Greg's Street Show. And he came in after winning some showcase that Greg had did, and I guess they promised him an interview. So they did an interview, and John and I, you know, John asked me what I did, and, you know, I told him I played college. A lot of people don't know I played college basketball. So that's I went to Mars Hill University. Okay. So it was Mars Hill College at the time, but it's now called Mars Hill University. This is a Division II school in North Carolina. So people don't know that I actually know the game of basketball because I played basketball. Like, I don't just pick up a mic and go. It's like, I studied the game. So John and I met, and I got hurt my junior year, so I transferred to Georgia Southern. And so I was doing radio, and long story short, you know, he and I stayed connected. And so we lived in the same city, or we didn't know that at the time, in Gwinnett. And so he was like, yo, meet me at Zaxby's on 78. So I got something I wanted to tell you about. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we sat down, we had like a 3-hour-long meeting at Zaxby's, and he just laid out the plans of the Atlanta Entertainment Basketball League, AEBL, and this was in 2011. And so in 2011, the summer of that, after I graduated, I went and spent some time in New York. I just wanted to understand the culture of basketball. I wanted to see what it is, that he was trying to bring to Atlanta and really put my own unique spin and flair on it. So I went to a lot of different summer pro-am leagues to see the culture of New York basketball. And I was like, you know what? One thing I didn't see was a woman doing it, and I realized, I'm like, I could be the first. I could be the only. And I am the first and the only woman in the country that's the face of an NBA Summer Pro-Am League.
Are you still the only one?
I am the only one.
That's kind of sad.
It's just sad, but it's true.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But it's sad that you say it's like, oh.
Yeah, when you look at all the leagues, when you look at Dykeman, when you look
Miami.
at Rucker, when you look at Miami Pro, when you look at Brunson League, when you look at all of these different leagues, the Shy League, Drew League, it's all men. And then there's me, right? So for me, I'm like, oh, this could be awesome. So we started at Central Park, and we've been going for 10 years strong. So we've been to Central Park, we went to Cleveland Ave, we went to Grady, and now being at KIPP Atlanta Collegiate. For us, AEBL has been a journey, but John, I've been the MC for the past 10 years, and John and I have been able to grow. And I told him recently, I hosted a gala for the Renee Montgomery Foundation. I told him, I said, I haven't been able to publicly give you your flowers, but thank you for introducing me to a side of basketball that I wasn't familiar with and I didn't know existed and that I could be the voice of, right? So when you think of summer basketball in this city, you associate a woman with it.
Right.
That doesn't happen very often. And so for us, being a part of AEBL and being in the city where you can earn your name. AEBL is the only place in the city that you can earn your nickname, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know a couple of NBA guys come and they have theirs already and they get theirs, but in this city, like, we have names with these guys that stick, right? And like people don't know their names in the city, but if I say, like, the Underground Gold, if I say Phenom, or if I say Ball and Marley, there's certain names you can associate these guys. Like, oh, this is this person, this person, and like, who is he? The most recent guy that played, Rajon Tucker. He's an NBA pro. He came in the gym, nobody knew who he was. And I said, who is he? I was like, no, bro, who is he though? And he is a dunking machine. And now people was like, yo, who is he coming today? Like, so his nickname's at stake, So yes, AEBL has definitely been for the culture, and it's been one to put on for the city. In 10 years, we're going strong, man.
And I'll stick with A because there's so much I want to get to. AEBL, when you look at kind of like you said throughout the past decade, Atlanta didn't really have that. Run and shoot was a thing in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, center court, absolutely.
But AEBL, I feel like you guys have taken it to another level, and the reason why Atlanta runs basketball right now, in my opinion,
you're 100% correct.
I think it's because of you guys, of AEBL. So when you think about that, what you've done for the culture of the city of Atlanta in basketball, and you think of Flau'jae, Jaylen Brown, we can go down the list. Malcolm Brogdon, Colin Sexton. You give me some names.
Josh Okogie, Lou Will,
Brandon Goodwin,
Dwight
Howard,
Josh Smith.
It's a billion. It's a billion names that we can go down of the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And I think it's because of you guys. When you think about that, of what you've been able to do with the growth, Taya Cooper. I guess just like, what does that mean to you when you think of the impact that you guys have had on basketball culture in the city? Because I'm sorry for cutting you off after asking the question, but I feel like people always associated Atlanta as a great city, the head of culture, Black Mecca, blah, 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 whatever they want to say, but it was a bad sports town. And, we always sell out for Kobe and Jordan because we were never a bad sports town. People cared. They just ain't care about the Hawks. So I feel like you guys have kind of changed that narrative. You guys and Trae Young and Ryan Howard now, you've all changed that narrative. So how is that for you to kind of have that weight or whatever on your shoulders?
Yeah, I think it's big. I think to whom much is given, much is required, right? I think when Jod brought AEBL to the city and wanted me to be involved, for me, community is important. I didn't fly here. I grew here, right? I'm a Northside Hospital baby. So to me, my community, my city, the sports culture, the state of sports culture means a lot to me. And knowing that I can be a part of this and I can change the trajectory of how the next 15, 20 years in sports look like, and being involved in every element from doing, I did a show with the Hawks called Hawks Hangout, where I was connecting the Hawks, players to the city, to be the in-arena host for the Atlanta Dream, to be at AEBL. To me, being able to touch every major sport, in this city, that means something. Right? And for me, I want to be able to say I left this game better than what I found it. What that looks like, only God knows and only time will tell. But for me, I want people, when you think of sports in Atlanta, to bring my name up in that conversation, and like I said, in rooms, and knowing that it's a responsibility, I love it. the harder the pressure, the better I do, right? And so for me, it was just like wanting to be, knowing that I can be that voice and use my voice and my platform made all the difference. And so now when people come to this city and you're starting to say, we got to respect Atlanta sports. It's not just, I'm a club here, I'm a party here, I'm going to live here. Now people are wanting to work here.
Right.
You know, DeJounte Murray coming to the Atlanta Hawks is huge. You know, having Clint Capella is huge for the Hawks. Having Ryan Howard as the #1 draft pick is huge for the Atlanta Dream. We're selling out the South Side. Like people, like you gotta love basketball to come to the South Side on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like you honestly do. But because you know the Atlanta Dream traded up to get the #1 pick in Ryan Howard, they understand. You know she's from Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. It's an hour from Atlanta. You know, right up the road. That adds value, right? You get Nas at number 15. She's still sitting there.
Oh,
they're two teams. They were best friends, two teammates. Like you know, they played in USA basketball together. Like. This is the type of stuff that we want to do and to be a part of this. And I say to be a part of the rebuild of sports in this city is more better. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the word, but it's more better. You know, it feels good to be a part of because like I said, I remember when the Hawks had a 60-win season, right? And then they went through the rebuild. I remember when the Atlanta Dream went to the WNBA finals with Angel McCautry. Yeah. Now we're at a rebuild. I'm now on both sides of that. Yeah. And I get a chance to see it, so it's a beautiful thing, man.
Salute is a bunch of names that I was thinking. Isaac Okoro.
Oh, yeah.
Diamond the Shield.
Yeah.
Ryan Harrow.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of names. Blah, blah, blah. I want to make sure nobody felt left
Ashton
out.
Higgins.
Ashton Higgins.
He's from my north side of town. What up, Ashton?
Scoot Henderson.
Scoot.
Yeah. Salute to the kids, man. But... Man, where was I going with that? I was thinking about the names. All right, you talked about going on the South Side, people going out the South Side, selling out South Side. Nas should have gone top 5. That was one note I wanted.
Big facts, but we'll take her at 15.
Yeah. We'll take it. She's going double every night. It's crazy to see her work her way into
starting
the
as a rookie.
It's beautiful to see her go from the. Anyways, when Lamelo Ball came a few years ago, and you got the call, like. I don't know. People have to understand. A few years ago, Lamelo Ball, he's still popular. He's still everything. A few years ago, Lamelo Ball, Lonzo Ball, and LeVar Ball were the 3 biggest things in sports.
Facts.
Like it wasn't even like the Ball family was it in sports. It was like the Ball family, LeBron James, Tom Brady. Like that's how it was. Facts. So when LaMelo came to Atlanta and you got to kind of call that game and everything like that. How was the energy in that room and how was it?
Yeah, I'll never forget it. It was at I think it was like a holiday classic that it was. And this when he was with Spire. Yeah. And I got the call and say, hey, we want you to come in and call this LaMelo Ball game. So this, like you said, this is when LaMelo was popping. Yeah. Before, right? It was when right when he got back from Lithuania. Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, all right, man, I got to put on a show, right? We were at Norcross High School. So I'm like, I got to put on a show. So I see LeVar walk in the gym, and I'm like, okay, this is about to be the energy we want to see. This is what I need, man. Front row, big baller brand shirt on. So I'm like, I got to turn it up to another level. Right. Every level that I go to, I feel like there's another gear that I have to hit. So I'll never forget, LeVar said this for me. LaMelo pulled up. He's from half court, and I was like, pulling up from Lithuania. And LeVar about fell out his seat. And, he came over to me at halftime. He said, I've seen basketball around the world. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people do this. But it's something about you that is very, very special. Come on now. And I was like, ooh, okay, LeVar, the big baller. And he was like, you're gonna go places in life. He was like, you just the way that you add culture to the game. You add that feel to the game. It's like the infusion of culture and music and basketball. It's something that we've never seen. He was like, your voice is commanding. He said, I walked in the gym and heard your voice, and I instantly looked to see where this person was. And he was like, I see this young woman, this voice coming out of this young woman's like, it's different. He was, after the game, he came up to me, he was like, the sky is only the beginning for you. He was like, you're incredible. Keep doing what you're doing. And like, he was like, if I'm ever in the city again, you already know who I'm calling. I was like, that's what I needed right there.
Oh no, that's crazy. Salute to LeVar, friend of the show, Out of Bounds, everything like that. Man, that's a great story. I can't believe I stumbled upon that. We only have a couple more minutes left. So I guess I could transition to WWE. Just touching on that. How has that been? wrestling, this is your time to talk about wrestling.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. I started back with WWE in 2016. So I work on the experience marketing side. So I get a chance to work with the superstars doing appearances. I don't do in arena because if I did in arena, fun fact, they're on the road 360 days a year, and I have other things I would like to accomplish. So I do a lot of connecting the fans and creating an experience for the superstars, working with it, whether it's making a wish and granting a kid's wish, or really just engaging with fan interaction for WWE. So being able to be a part of that brand has been absolutely incredible for the past 6 years now. I wasn't a wrestling fan when I first started, but knowing these guys' stories and being able to be on the road with these guys, 40 weeks out of the year touring, so I do main roster, I do Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and being able to work with these guys and just seeing they're some of the coolest people you'll ever meet, and just understanding the art of wrestling. And for example, there's certain cities that the Undertaker wouldn't wrestle because that power bomb is it's an illegal move in certain states because you don't have certain control over your head.
Wow.
You remember that used to be his finishing move when he
Yeah.
put you on a tombstone. Yeah, so just learning the little nuances of wrestling that a lot of people didn't know has been incredible. And again, wrestling fans are very different. So I've experienced some challenges with it as far as going to certain cities and they're like, you work with wrestling? I'm like, yeah, this little black girl, I like to wrestling. But it's been absolutely incredible. The experience has been amazing. And, I've been super grateful for the opportunity to expand my platter of sports that I do.
Right, for sure. And wrapping up now, where can the people find you and everything and keep up with you?
Oh, yeah. Make sure you're on all social media platforms. You follow me at I am Bria Janelle. I'm going to run that back real slow. It's been a block. It's IAMBRIAJANELLE. I am Bria Janelle. All platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that other good stuff. I got it. Follow me. I am Bria Janelle.
All right, you guys heard it here first. Rashad Milligan out of bounds from the studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We appreciate you all so much. Until the next time, take care of yourself.